Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm your host on Velo Dulce, the show where we talk women, performance, and life. Velo Dulce comes from the Italian phrase La vita dolce, which means the good life. These are stories from women around the world on finding the good life, no matter what life throws at them. I last spoke to Ariane on the 23rd of September last year. It seems like 100 years ago. Since then, a lot has happened and created Femme for Peace, which I want to hear more about. But also in her true courageous style, Ariane has been public this year about her challenge with COVID and the fatigue that has ensued post-COVID. On the show, I love stories of victory, but what I really love is that the story of the Victorians, because I think victory is really fleeting. And what always lasts is the character of the Victorians themselves, because it's not really about what they win, it's about how they show up to face life's tests, and has been thrown more than a few curveballs. So I wanted to start there. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Hey.
Thanks. Hey. So give us a brief overview of what happened since we last chatted. I was following you up until Epic, and then life took over.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, I actually had a really good preparation for, this year's season, 2022. I felt strong. I had really good training camps in Spain. I felt like really on top of my game, actually. And my boyfriend got COVID while we were in training camp in Spain. I was like, whoa, just stay away from me. I was flying at the time, and I was like, oh, please, just really not now. It was, I think, February. So like kind of a month to go till Epic, or like January, February. So yeah, like a really important time to put a lot of training in. So I was like, cool. I slept in another room and was wearing mask in the living room. And anyway, so I didn't get it. I was like, yes, I didn't get it. So happy. And then I did Ana Lucia bike race with Amy as a preparation for the Cape Epic, and we were really flying together. It was a really good race for us. We won it. So happy days. And then Cape Epic came, and really I felt super strong, and was also, I was confident with Amy to race with her. We came third in the prologue. We almost won the first stage. I had a flat. We were leading the stage over the last big climb, and it was kind of downhill and flattish to the finish. And on the downhill, I flatted, and unfortunately, I couldn't quite fix it quickly because it was a really a tricky one on the rim. So we fell back to second, but I was still second. We were super happy and super stoked that we could do so well in a Cape Epic stage. And day 3, we came third, was still good. I had a little crash there, so I needed to go get some stitches, but really a very small thing. And the next day I felt a bit off, and I was like, okay, maybe it was just from busy day. I mean, I came home after having been at the hospital at 4:00. It was the longest stage ever. Stage 2 was 6.5 hours, and then I still had to go to a little hospital there, and so I felt like probably I didn't recover. So cool, let's see the next day how it goes. And from there on, it just went worse and worse and worse. It was not like I felt really sick. I just couldn't push as hard as I thought I should be able to. Until about FTP, it was kind of okay, but everything over was just really not going well. I had a bit of herpes symptoms, so I was thinking, well, it's just the herpes again. I had it many times. I felt a bit off then. But if I have herpes, I always finish the race. It was not really holding me back. it didn't even actually cross my mind that it could be COVID, but because I had no such symptoms. Then after the epic, our staff was flying back home. Well, actually, the parents of my boyfriend that was also around us flew back home and did the COVID test for that, and they were all positive. And I was like, oops, well, let's do a COVID test as well then. And I was still negative, actually. So that was Tuesday morning after epic. I was still negative. But then the next day, my coughing started. And then I also tested positive. So I was like, okay, maybe it could have been that already during the race.
Right.
And while I was racing, I mean, the last day, it just got worse and worse and worse. So the last day, I really struggled. I just was like, okay, one day more. And it was not the longest stage and not too climby. It's like, it's my 10th epic, actually, that I could finish. So it's like, well, let's just do it. However I'm going to get to the finish, I'm just going to roll there. And my partner, Amy, I mean, it was hard at the time when we realized, like, yeah, we can't quite compete for what we were preparing for. That was a tough one. But then once we kind of worked through that, it was just about managing me and whatever I still had left. And she was really an awesome partner with that. So she just nursed me to the finish, basically. And at the finish, I was already thinking, like, damn, I really hope I didn't do anything stupid, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Because then I really didn't feel so great anymore. I was quite broken at the finish, and it was just like, wow, my body did a hell of a job here. And then, well, it was anyway time to rest. You know, after epic, you take a good rest. So 3 weeks, I didn't do anything really. And then I had the opportunity to race the Four Islands state race with Faranak.
I saw that. In Greece. Where was that?
Croatia.
Oh, Croatia. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where the whole Pump for Peace thing comes in. Faranak is from Iran, and basically
she was a guest on the show. For those of you who haven't listened, go and listen to that episode. Yeah.
Yeah, please. She's an incredible person. I really wanted to do that with her and get to know her better. And what's better than racing a race together than to get to know each other. So and she already booked her flight, so I really didn't feel like I couldn't say no anymore. I felt
right.
I still didn't feel 100%. I was like, well, we don't have to, you know, really push ourselves to win the race. It's just about the experience together. So there's not really pressure to bring the top performance. Let's just do it. And the first day was actually going really well. The second day as well. And then from there on, it just went downhill as well. So yeah, it really put me back. After that, I was completely broken for 2 weeks. Just didn't do anything for 2 weeks. And then I felt kind of recovered. And the next big goals were European champs and Swiss champs, defending my Swiss champion title. And I was like discussing it with my coach, and he said, well, Europeans is maybe a bit early to really be in your top shape. But Swiss champs, I mean, that's definitely enough time. It's 2 weeks later. Let's use the Europeans as a preparation race and really be ready for Swiss champs. I was like, cool. And then from there, I just only did train, eat, sleep. Like, I only focused on that. And I mean, I felt like tired. And now that I look back, like, it was actually quite a struggle. But I just had these goals ahead of me, and I didn't listen to my body that much. I just like, okay, just you need to push, you need to get there. It's always hard to build up shape again. I was kind of
sure.
The fact that I was maybe struggling more than usual, I was kind of putting down to the fact that I just didn't have the shape anymore, you know, that I took so much rest that I first needed to build, and that's always hard, you know. Anyway, Europeans was a bit I felt I wasn't at my top shape, but it was okay actually. I mean, considering now what was going on, it was actually really good. I came sixth, but yeah, it was a special experience. I was just seeing cross-eyed the last
Wow.
30 Ks probably, and yeah, it was, my body felt quite weird. But then it was like, Swiss Champs is coming, let's keep on pushing. And the week before Swiss Champs, I still needed to do one interval session, and they are just like, I couldn't bring myself anymore to do it. And then I started the whole doubting thing, like, what's going on? Are you
Right.
too old? Are you kind of just forfeiting because you think you anyway can't win? And all the whole doubting game in my head, and was really a big crisis for me, because this was this thing that I prepared really hard for. I went to scout the route like 3 or 4 times. I was really putting all my energy into that. So I was like, I can't do it. I really can't do it. I'm so tired, actually.
Yeah.
Well, and then I forfeit, so I canceled the race for me and went to the doctors to check my blood values. Everything was normal. So it's like, iron was good, no thyroid problems, anything like that. So it's like, well, it's got to be my head, eh? I mean, with my history of depression, I was like, well, maybe I'm just depressed again. The last time I felt really depressed, I also struggled to motivate myself. I was very lethargic. Maybe it's that, it feels very similar. So I went to the psychiatrist, checked all my medication, and tried a new medication. And it just didn't really get better. Obviously, those things take time, so you don't rush
it. Sure.
Eventually it will come better. So I was still thinking, I will race this season at some point. But I also, at the same time, I got from my sponsor Hateka, they supplement sponsor of mine, and
right.
the whole health thing. Salusmed is kind of the
mother brand.
Yeah, the mother brand, right. And they have all kind of health solutions, so they're very much involved with a lot of doctors and all this stuff that's going on around COVID as well. So they recommended me to see a long COVID specialist, and that's where I started to figure out, okay, maybe it could be that. The best thing I could do was actually I did a lab test. So basically the theory around long COVID is, and I mean, I'm not a doctor, I just want to
no, you've done a lot of research.
It's just what I know at this stage and what I was told. So basically what they know at this stage is that viruses like COVID, it's similar to the Epstein-Barr virus that causes glandular fever, which also basically causes chronic fatigue syndrome. Is that these viruses kind of stay in the body and cause chronic inflammation in the body, and that damages the mitochondria. And the mitochondria are power stations in our body, or in each cell we have mitochondria, and they produce the energy for that cell. And if those don't work well, our body can't produce energy properly. And the effects of that can be very diverse, because obviously every cell in our body has it. So it can be in your head. That's why a lot of people have brain fog, concentration struggles. And it can be, what I had in the beginning was I could struggle to sleep, which is obviously a vicious circle. When you're already tired and you can't sleep properly, it gets worse. And that's because your whole balance is out of sync. And your body struggles to find the sleep button. Also, the seeing cross-eyed was interesting. He said, if your eye muscles don't get the energy they need, it's such a difficult thing to adjust for the eyes properly. That a little bit of being off
makes sense.
Cross-eyed, actually. So it's like, oh wow, okay. So it wasn't actually, yeah, because I wasn't feeling dizzy. I really just couldn't see straight.
Yeah.
And I was blinking. I was like, yeah, it's not so easy to ride a mountain bike when you don't see straight. So all these things, and I could do a test. So there's a lab in Germany that can run a test where the functionality of the mitochondria is being tested, and apparently that was off. So it showed that my mitochondria aren't really going well, and
Right.
that was actually a huge
And
relief for me in a way, because okay, it's not just depression,
right.
or it's not necessarily the origin of it. Of course, what
I
is
can relate 100%. I actually got COVID in September, but years ago I was diagnosed with Lyme disease, which is similar to Epstein-Barr. And at that time, I didn't have any energy. I was exhausted all the time, and I got COVID in September, and COVID has knocked me. I mean, I am nowhere. I mean, I have been struggling to ride 50 Ks kind of slowly, which, as you know, would be normal, but it's like impossible. And you're so exhausted, but in your head, you're like, you're currently seeking a solution, but it doesn't come. So you do sink into depression. I have been very definitely depressed in the past few months for that exact reason. And I followed the same process as you. I went to the doctor and he's like, no, bloods are normal. And I was like, great. So it is just me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just
Yeah.
doubt yourself in the first place.
So when was that long COVID test?
I need to think. End of July, beginning August.
Okay.
Yeah. So end of July, I visited the long COVID specialist, and then it takes a while for that test to reveal the results. And back then, it's funny. Back then, I was like, "Damn, 2 weeks!" You know, it's like another 2 weeks that you don't know what's going on and you can't train. You know, and now I'm like thinking, "Wow, okay,
now it's like
2 weeks is nothing."
Right. Now it's
I'm still not. Yeah, I'm still not training. It's March, now we have November, and
wow.
all I can do is a max of 2 hours, because now my fitness is absolutely nowhere.
Sure.
My boyfriend made me a graph. It looked like your illness is going down, or like your fitness is going down and the health is going up, and now you're like there, you know, like you're unfit, but you're a little bit better health wise. I'm like, okay.
And now what was the process that they gave you?
Well, actually, so the doctor works with Hateka, which is a personalized micronutrient.
Right.
So normally Hateka is like a food supplement. So it's they basically how you say, it needs to have a certain criteria. So it can't be too strong. Only doctors can give you a higher dose of vitamin C or whatever. So if it's just in this food supplement range, then it has to be this certain amount, you know, that are allowed for supplementation. So he gave me a much stronger mix of the Hateka. So it's actually like all kind of granulates of all different micronutrients that you can put together individually for the person, which is a really cool thing. So I started taking these. Well, first I did a whole, with probiotics, the whole
Right.
that intestinal stuff to make sure that I can absorb the micronutrients, and a whole dose of supplements, especially with the Hateka. And that was definitely sure. I guess it does help something. It's just it takes a much longer time, and the most important thing was definitely the pacing. You also, that's what you read about long COVID the most. You need to learn what you can do with the limited battery, because whenever I actually did a little bit too much, it would throw me back.
Right.
So whenever I did, maybe I can remember I once did a 2-hour loop around the lake, which is normally my easy, right?
Say yes.
So my rest day routine, I couldn't do anything for a week. Like I was so shattered that for a week I was just scrambling. And another thing I realized, because usually I would do strength training on a rest day in the past, or on an easier day, I'll go to the gym. So I was like, okay, well, let's do that then, 'cause that's my easier.
Yes.
And then I realized like gym probably causes a bit inflammation in my body, you know, and that was really bad. Also, like an hour gym. I mean, normally I would even do like 1.5 hours, and I would
Sure.
maybe run there, and that's my easy day. Yeah, normally I was actually going there with an e-bike, and I did like a limited routine, much less than I would usually do, and that was still too much. I was completely shattered afterwards.
Right.
I really had to learn, okay, what is possible, and it was just so much less than I thought was actually still doable. And it also went down because my fitness went down.
Sure. So
Then
it was
I
double.
limit earlier, so
Yeah.
I had to adjust constantly actually.
Yes, I get
Which
that.
is for an athlete mind, it's like, damn, I'm not doing anything anymore,
Listen, I don't class myself as an athlete, but I usually train like 6 days a week. And just the mental adjustment and the impact that it has when you can't train and you can't, it's like part of yourself is not there anymore.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's you're like, hello, could the real me please come back? Yeah, it's hectic. And something that's come up for me, I don't know kind of the emotional impact it's had on you, but my sister is a clinical psychologist and she always talks about like self-forgiveness and self-love, and it's always been like these very airy fairy concepts for me, like what is that shit anyway? Like, and I've really had to implement that, like, okay, well, we couldn't train today, okay, cool, but we went to work, yay. Like,
No,
um,
this, yeah, I mean, I must say it is an extremely challenging time. For me, what was great now, still during the summertime, I was focusing then on the team
and
to have
let's
some purpose.
Let's talk about that because, like, of course, in true Ariane style, you didn't like get on the couch and pull out the movies or Netflix of the past 6 months. You're like, I know, let's change the world. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, together with Claudio Calavori, Swiss as well, former downhiller, and yeah, he was actually commentating the downhill World Cups on Red Bull TV in the past, and also founder of Velo Solutions and founder of Pump for Peace, which is connected to Velo Solutions. So he and we started this team. How it came together was actually he raced the Swiss Epic with Faranak last year. He wanted to raise funds to build a pump track in Iran. That was the reason for him to race with her, and that's how I met her at the Swiss Epic finish line. Basically, we started chatting and we stayed in contact. Then in November, I did a race in Dubai where she was also racing, and we chatted a bit more. We had a bit more time there. So we stayed in touch, and I was like, well, maybe I can help you a bit. I'm also involved with the Cyclists Alliance, so I put her in touch with that. Maybe she can benefit from it as well. And then she told me, yeah, her biggest issue is actually getting to the start line of a World Cup. She really wants to go to World Cups to push her level. She's basically winning everything in Iran, doesn't really have competition. So she knows she needs to go to Europe to be pushed, and improve herself. But there, it's a bit of a struggle with the federation. It's always a lot of bureaucracy and whatever. So it's like, well, maybe I can find you a team a UCI team can register the riders directly to the World Cup. So that would make your life a lot easier. It was like, well, great. So I was looking around for teams, writing to teams that I knew, but that was already end of November. Till these answers came back, it was mid-December, and I was like, okay, it was all no's. I mean, obviously, look, the rosters were full, and these teams were basically, they closed their deals and whatever.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, well, what can we do? So I eventually had Claudia on the phone because I knew him, and I knew he was also knowing her and racing with her. So maybe he had an idea. And it was like he actually always thought about building a Pump for Peace team, connected to. So Pump for Peace is basically the social project of Velo Solutions. Velo Solutions is pump tracks all over.
Okay.
It's going well. It's a really good business. And Pump for Peace, he then started building pump tracks with funds that he was raising in underprivileged communities. Like the first one was actually in Lesotho.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then also in South Africa, in some townships, a few. So basically in communities where there's no such thing as Google, and no one could actually finance that. So it's like, he was always kind of thinking, to do more development from where these pump tracks are, and then eventually build a racing team from it, Now it just started a little bit the other way around, that we first, because the development is not really happening in that sense, or it's not a Pump for Peace development. There's like small things going on around these pump tracks, but he was like, well, we can try and do a Pump for Peace team. He would sponsor the registration fee for the UCI team. So let's just start with that. I mean, that already helps far enough.
Sure.
I mean, no sponsor. I mean, we had nothing. It was basically just, okay, we will be able to register a UCI team, and that allows her to race the World Cups. That was our starting ground. It was
amazing.
Like, well, nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's very well connected in the industry. So he was sending out 10 emails the next day to all the people he knew, Shram, Victoria, and so on and so on. And I was doing the same with my partners. I was also writing to Hartseka and all my sponsors. So it was actually quite amazing what response we got. So we did get a bit of support immediately, and everyone tried to help as much as they could. I mean, also some World Cup destinations helped us. For example, Lenzer Heide gave us free entries and accommodation, which was really amazing. So they could race. So then actually we needed 3 riders to register UCI team. And obviously Faranak was one. To keep it as small as possible, I was one. And then we added Tumelo Makae from Lesotho to the team. Claudia knew him through the pump tracks in Lesotho. He knew about him, and he is the national Lesotho champion. So he already had a bit of UCI points, which also helped because he also needed a minimum of UCI points in the team. So that's our little team. So Tumelo, Faranak, and
amazing. And the plan, so what are the plans for the year to come for the team?
So I mean, this year was just starting off and making it possible for them to do some World Cups. Faranak unfortunately broke her hand during that race in Croatia that we did it together. So the start was a little bit delayed. Tumelo had some issues with his visa, which is also always like a huge headache for any African rider trying to race in Europe. Visas is like a never-ending story for those kind of riders. So we had our challenges apart from the logistics, because if you want to, I mean, we then had equipment sponsors. They got some nice big spikes, and Shram obviously with their equipment and stuff, and G-Skin, my clothing sponsor, was helping with the kit. So we needed to get it to them. So not so easy, because just shipped to Lesotho.
It's It's not like you just post to Germany or post
No,
to
no.
some European country.
Eventually, with actually the Scott racing team helped us to get to Melos back to South Africa around Cape Epic. I was there around
Oh,
Cape
cool.
Epic already, so I could then make sure that it somehow gets close to Lesotho and But then Iran is a whole different story because of all the things that they have. You cannot ship anything to Iran. It's impossible.
Sure.
So, but then she did races in Turkey, so we then somehow got everything into Turkey, and it's like
amazing.
So the logistics are quite interesting and
wow.
challenging.
So if you didn't have enough challenges on the personal health front, then you had it everywhere else.
So I was quite busy.
And now you've just come back from Rwanda.
Yes, I did actually. So so the goal. So the nice thing is we made some. We knew for next year we're not going to start on 20 December with this, so we were like, okay, let's do this as early as possible, and we started in May, June actually. And so we've got some really nice support from SRAM next year. They will be very involved with the team, as well as Victoria are going to be the main sponsors, and some are still in negotiation, so we can actually grow the team a bit. First of all, we can make it more professional. We can also pay a retainer to the athletes, which was not possible this year because we really had a very small budget. And we wanted to make sure they can actually race. But yeah, we want to support the athletes better. And that means not just doing everything for them. We would like to develop athletes that also very much stand on their own feet. And we also would like to grow the communities around them. So for Tumelo, that means that he will go ride with athletes in Lesotho. For Farnak, it means that we want to create a community around her with women from Iran, possibly, to get more women on the bike there. And for that, we need people working. So
absolutely.
That's me to one part, so I will get a little bit reimbursed for what I do.
Good.
And, we will also have Andrea on the team, who was already working for Pump for Peace in the very beginning. So our team is growing a little bit in the support front, and we're also looking at taking more riders on the team. So that's also a reason why I went to Rwanda 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Tumelo was racing the Rwandan Epic with a rider from Rwanda.
Okay.
That's one of the riders we are looking at, and we also connected to some riders from Kenya. We are looking at other riders from South Africa, but yeah, it's not that easy. There's obviously a lot of riders that love the opportunity, and we need to make smart decisions on for who it is the right to go, because what we actually realize in this process is there hasn't been really mountain bike development much in Africa. We've been mostly looking, we've also looked at Asian countries, Philippines, Nepal, and so on. We haven't quite seen anyone that would fit very much with the team yet in that area. And yeah, we would like to have a partner for Tumelo, possibly also to do some stage races with. And yeah, we are looking what could fit there.
On the one hand, your career has not been great this year.
Haven't raced anymore since June, so
but you've done amazing stuff, and I think I don't know if you ever take a moment just to reflect on that, but really the stuff you've done for cycling and bringing awareness to communities is really amazing. So I think you should be acknowledged for that work that's been done.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, it's definitely something that just gives me a bit of purpose. And I'm really grateful that this kind of came together. It's a few years back, if I would have had long COVID then, I would have just been a miserable person at home. I mean, I'm still a miserable person a lot of times. Not being able to ride my bike as much, but at least there's something there that gets me up in the morning.
Amazing.
And
yeah, we all need that. We all need a reason to get up in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. And it's definitely also what I had crises in my career before where I was thinking, this is probably it, maybe the end of my career. And I was thinking very much, what will I do afterwards? And that's when I realized, like, I think actually doing something in a charitable area, in the bigger scheme, if you want to call it like that,
Yes.
or non-profit organization, I think makes me more happy than something where the goal is basically just to make more and more money.
Yes.
And I kind of figured out already 3 years ago, and I was like, okay, I want to go in that direction, and that's also where I headed towards.
Amazing. First of all, there are certain people you bet on in the world, and you are one of them. You kind of remind me of Marc Marquez. I mean, from MotoGP. Marc Marquez from MotoGP has broken his shoulder, I don't know how many times. And he has been down and out and on the bottom. Like, I mean, if you follow him on Instagram, it's like pictures in hospital and, like really serious stuff. And then always he's like, but I'm always like, yeah, watch this space. He'll be back. So yeah, I have no doubt. I want to acknowledge the journey because it's no joke. And I also just want to say the work you're doing is really amazing. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's also, what I'm learning now as well, there's maybe also a bit of a history before why this affected by COVID and got into a chronic fatigue, and that's definitely also something I'm addressing. So it's those things, unless it's an accident and you crash,
sure,
there is maybe some other reasons why you're getting there, especially with burnouts and chronic fatigue.
Nothing like a little chronic illness to help you reflect on what's happening in your life.
Yes. Yeah. Well, at least it gives you a bit of time, eh?
True that. Yeah. Well, listen, I want to thank you for your time. I know how precious it is. Even like recovery time is extremely precious. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's always interesting. And I hope it helps people also to maybe, hear that someone else is going through a difficult time.
Yeah, that's my hope. That's my hope from our chat, is that, like, if you are struggling with fatigue, it's not you. It's have it checked out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Velo Dulce. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you loved it, please do share with a friend and write a review on iTunes. I will be most appreciative. Most importantly on the show, I hope to inspire each and every one of you in whatever way, shape, or form. If you have a story, please drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. But until next time, I wish you Velo Dulce.